you right, and yes, even a late night menu every Friday and Saturday night. When you're thinking summer in Rapid City, there's only one move: Murphy's. Visit murphyspubandgrill.com. Murphy's, a Rapid City icon.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work, and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
What are you doing?
Just getting in the holiday spirit.
Isn't it a little early for jingle bells and Christmas in general?
It's never too early for Christmas. But Renewal by Anderson's Christmas in July sale just got me in the mood.
A window sale started all of this?
It's not just any window sale. It's Renewal by Anderson.
Okay, settle down. I'll get the ladder and we'll get started hanging the lights.
Renewal by Anderson's Christmas in July sale. 20% off every window and door. No money, no payment, and no interest for 18 months with approved credit. This means no payments till 2027. Hurry, the holiday savings end August 15th. Hassle-free, energy-efficient, low-maintenance windows with a professional fit. Renewal by Anderson uses Fibrex windows, keeping your home cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter, and reduces your energy bill. They do windows. They're the experts. No subcontractors. For a free in-home estimate and a perfect fit, go to RBARapidCity.com. That's RBARapidCity.com. Renewal by Anderson, when only the best will do.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
And here's what you need to know.
Colorado head football coach Deion Sanders revealed today that he was diagnosed with bladder cancer this offseason, but is now cancer-free. Sanders plans to resume his full-time coaching duties this fall, as he was joined at the press conference by doctors, including Dr. Janet Kukraya.
Day-to-day, I think, will, for most patients, becomes just a new way of life. But outlook, very good. We'll just keep him on routine surveillance scans. Other than that, nothing else.
Doctors revealed Sanders had his entire bladder removed because of a cancerous tumor, and they built him a new bladder, but Deion expected to coach fully this upcoming season. We jump to the NFL, where the Titans released former first-round pick wide receiver Treylon Burks. Steelers let go of Cordero Patterson today, while the Broncos and Cortland Sutton agreed on a new 4-year extension. Guardians closer Emmanuel Clase placed on the non-disciplinary leave as he's under investigation as part of baseball's probe into gambling. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, we're back on a Monday. How are you? The Nate Brown Show is in, ready to go across South Dakota. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Hope you had a nice weekend. And it is always a great day in South Dakota. We know that. Heads up on the weather, right? Heads up across the state. A little severe action going on, so keep your head on a swivel. Be careful out there. Hope you're enjoying your day. Let's get going tonight. South Dakota Sports Talk Show is back on Fox Sports Radio. Glad to have you here. Remember, you can stream the show on X at Nate Brown Show. So follow us and watch us live on X every afternoon at Nate Brown Show. And then you've got us on YouTube right now, The Nate Brown Show. The YouTube channel is up. Live and archive shows there, The Nate Brown Show. So you're good to go, whether you're on Fox Sports Radio on the digital side of your phone. Take us with you. Let's get popping tonight. What was the weekend like? What was happening over the weekend? Well, there was some action going on, getting set for the State Legion baseball tournament. So we got that field set for South Dakota sports. We're going to get into that. We got some NFL stuff tonight, some high school sports stuff. Let's look at the guest lineup tonight. We will go to Frank Schwab, live in Denver, national NFL writer. He's been covering training camps. He's based out of Denver. We've got him from Yahoo Sports. Frank is in. We'll hit on the Vikings a little bit more. Raiders. Yes, the Raiders are in the news. Well, why is it always the Raiders when something goes awry? There's always something with the Raiders. Frank Schwab's coming up, national NFL writer, Yahoo Sports. We will go to Pierre tonight. Dan Swartos is on, South Dakota High School Activities Association, Executive Director. Board meeting coming up, and there's things we talked about last week that I want to address. with Dan Sortos. Ask him about the SDPB contract as well. Will that be good to go? Dan Sortos coming up from Pierre, talking high school sports. Jake Shapiro's on tonight. He was at the press conference. Deion Sanders with a big announcement today with his medical team. That's been in the news all day. Having bladder cancer, had a tumor there, had his bladder removed, and now he's back to coach the Buffs. Reaction from Jake Shapiro coming up from denversports.com. And we'll get Zach Borg on tonight. Yes, Zach Borg's going to be covering Post 22 at the state baseball tournament in Watertown. Zach Borg, the play-by-play man. We've got him tonight. We'll preview the State A Legion tournament. Sports broadcaster live from Sioux Falls. Good stuff on a Monday night. Good guests from South Dakota and beyond. Let's get you on tonight if you want in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show invites you onto the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, 605-720-1067. That's the number. Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline for you, 605-720-1067. Remember the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet at East 10th Street in Sioux Falls, also in Brandon, and 2 locations in Rapid City. It's your locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch. Best buffet by far. Also, the text line is open tonight. If you want to can't call, you can text the show, be a part of the conversation there. We'll read those throughout the day. 605-720-1067. It's the Barron's Wilson listener text line, 605-720-1067. Okay, how do I want to start here? Let's get into a baseball discussion. Let's get into a South Dakota baseball discussion. I mean, football's coming. I understand we're going to be football, heavy football, and we are, college and pro and high school. So we're going to cover football. I want to have a baseball discussion tonight because this is the time. You got the State A Legion tournament coming up, starts tomorrow in Watertown. And there's one big thing I noticed about the field. And so I want to have this discussion, what this actually means, and where is baseball going, and where's it at in the state of South Dakota when it comes to high school aged. So here's what I noticed about the State Legion baseball field. Post 22 is there. The storied program going for state title again, trying to get back on top. They've been knocked off a little bit, right? So they're trying to get back on top. They've had an unbelievable year. Post 22's 58-9, something like this, right? 58-9. So, and then you've got Post 320 from Rapid City. So congrats to head coach Mike Jansen, who took over this program. It's really struggled, and he's trying to get this thing going, and I think he's done an outstanding job. You make the State Legion baseball field in your first year. I love what he's done there. So congrats to Mike Jansen, the head coach at Rapid City Post 320. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. They've gelled. They've played a lot of games together. They knock off Sioux Falls East and get to the State Legion tournament. So you got 2 Rapid City teams in the state baseball tournament starting tomorrow in Watertown, and they play each other. So Post 22 is going to play Post 320. Probably not good news for Post 320, as they haven't beaten the Hard Hats since 2008. That's our records, okay? 2008. So that's the first game of the State Legion tournament tomorrow. 2 Rapid City teams playing each other. And the thing I noticed about the field, there is not Sioux Falls East. There is not Sioux Falls West. Now, it's not like they've made it every single year like Post 22, but one of those teams usually makes this field. And the way the Legion baseball tournament goes now with the regionals, you have a really good chance of West and East to make it out of Sioux Falls because you play a best-of-3 series. There's no more regional stuff where it's locked in that a couple of teams from out West are going to make it or whatever. So it kind of goes to the Sodak 16 model like we do basketball. There's no regional representation. It's just whoever wins, that's it. So the baseball field doesn't have Sioux Falls East. It doesn't have Sioux Falls West. Now, Harrisburg's in. They've done a good job. Brandon Valley, they were strong in high school baseball. They're in. And they got Renner. Renner's been, in the state field for a while now. They've done a nice job there in Renner. So you got Sioux Falls area teams, and this whole scene out in Sioux Falls when it comes to high school baseball-age kids, it sounds like they're just going every which way. You got baseball kids playing at Sanford, a ton of players playing at Sanford, doing the travel ball thing, and some elite players is what I'm being told by some Sioux Falls baseball guys. So you have the Sanford travel teams. You've got the Legion teams. Then you got these other area teams. So all of these high school baseball teams in Sioux Falls that are pretty good. Jefferson was up there. O'Gorman was up there. I mean, these teams were pretty solid. Lincoln, I mean, he had a nice high school baseball season, right? Then how did West and East, which gets a lot of these players, gets some of these players, they didn't make the State Legion baseball tournament starting tomorrow? So I'm going to ask you that because Sioux Falls, we know, has dominated most of the sports scene, and I know it's football heavy. There's a lot of success there in volleyball, basketball, girls and boys. So Sioux Falls, from a sports standpoint, really tough to beat in South Dakota. I mean, I think people can be honest with that. Tough to beat. There's always Sioux Falls schools in the mix somewhere, somehow, in many, many sports. And here we go with a Legion baseball tournament, which is the tournament of the summer, and 2 Rapid City teams make it. Post 22, not a surprise at all. They've just been unbelievably good for so many years. Post 320 surprises, knocks off Sioux Falls East, gets into the state tournament. I'm going to ask you this question of the day. I want the baseball fans in Sioux Falls to let me know, and across South Dakota, is that a big deal that neither Sioux Falls East, Sioux Falls West, the Legion programs with the Sioux Falls base made the State Legion tournament starting tomorrow in Watertown? That's my question of the day as we start tonight. Is that a big deal? And then I'm going to get into some other stuff here. But 605-720-1067, Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline if you have thoughts, if you have some baseball expertise, or the Barons Wilson text line open as well, 605-720-1067. You just tell me, is it a big deal or not that Sioux Falls East, Sioux Falls West didn't even make the Legion State Baseball Tournament? Is that a big deal or not? I threw it out there. People are voting on Twitter right now, 125 votes, so substantial amount. A little public feedback from the great source of X. Public feedback says 58% of you say it's not a surprise Sioux Falls West or Sioux Falls East didn't make the State Legion tournament tomorrow. 58% of you no, it's not a surprise. Sioux Falls, not a heavy baseball town. That's the option that I gave on there. 42% of you are saying Sioux Falls should always be there at the State Legion tournament. So it is a big deal that West and East didn't make it. Let's get some listener reaction. Let's see here. Sioux Falls has been a mess with players splitting up from the 16 to 18U level for decades. Rarely have everybody on the same page at that level. So what I'm hearing is Sioux Falls has all of these players going every which way. So that they play high school baseball and for their school, and then when it comes to the summertime baseball, some stick with Legion, some go Sanford travel, and that's how that breaks up. So they go every which way. And if you miss a good pitcher or two that played high school that now doesn't join Sioux Falls East or vice versa Sioux Falls West, then you end up in a tough spot. So does that factor in the travel baseball aspect? Because in Rapid City, there's a little bit of travel, a little bit. This organization, the Rapid City Sliders, has started up. They get a lot of the high school baseball kids, and they go around to some showcases, but that really hasn't seemed like it hurt post-22 or post-320, really. Maybe it's hurt them a little bit. But the travel baseball scene has happened in Rapid City, but maybe it's not as prevalent as it is in Sioux Falls. Let's see. I got a listener reaction here saying that, Nate, the high school baseball season is the real measuring stick for South Dakota. The high school baseball season, not the Legion baseball season. And I don't know if I can say that. Here's the scene we've got going in the state. When it comes to baseball, and this is the big picture. You got one side of the state, the eastern side, that goes heavy high school baseball. I think a lot of the star kids, a lot of the great players play high school baseball for their school. They end up dominating the scene. You know, the Sioux Falls schools, I went through some of the top-rated ones. Sioux Falls Lincoln was in there. O'Gorman was good. Jefferson was really good. So you got Brandon Valley just right there as well, really good. So the high school baseball season in South Dakota, East River dominated, and they get a lot of the players to play for the schools. Well, guess what happens out west? Stevens is coming along in baseball. Central's been trying to come along, and that's really it. Because west side of the state doesn't have high school baseball players that also play for Post 22, the premier program. Yes, the Post 22 baseball program doesn't have the high school baseball players. You're either playing for Post 22 in the spring, or you're playing for Rapid City Central or Rapid City Stevens, whatever. You're not doing, well, I'm going to start at Stevens like we do out in Sioux Falls. I'll start high school, and then I'll join this Legion team or a travel team. No, you're either all in at Post 22 right away in the spring, or that's the end of the story. So you're either playing high school or you're playing Legion. So we have this big off-balance scene in South Dakota right now. The high school baseball season not taken as serious by players out west. The high school baseball season taken pretty serious out east, like more serious. And then you enter the summer category, which people say, hey, the Legion tournament's been the thing in South Dakota. That's the benchmark. That's who you know who's the best program is these Legion, the state Legion tournament, which is great. But now I'm being told, has it already shifted a little bit to where the eastern side of the state doesn't take Legion as serious, meaning the Sioux Falls area? Does it not take the state Legion tournament as serious? I do have a listener reaction coming in from a former baseball coach saying, no, the Legion state tournament is still the benchmark. So I got somebody saying high school, the benchmark. I got another Legion's the benchmark. Well, here's the long story short, okay? Long story short of the Nate Brown Show. If high school baseball was sanctioned, yes, I'm gonna go there one more time. If high school baseball was sanctioned, I don't think you'd have this discrepancy, I don't think, from East River to West River. Meaning both sides of the state, I believe, would have strong high school programs. I think Post 22 and some of these programs that say, hey, well, you got to play Legion to start, not high school. I think if you have a sanctioned season, would that turn the tide, the long-standing tide of Post 22 having their players, and then turning it into, well, we got a high school season, and then we go to Post 22. And would it hurt that at all? I don't think that would hurt. I don't know. I don't run the Post 22 program. I know people in it, deep within it, okay? I think they do an outstanding job. But if it was sanctioned, would both sides of the state treat it differently? My take is yes. So it's one more argument from me, and I've talked about baseball a little bit. Sanctioning it brings it validity. You play for the school. It's a real state championship. It would be tough to say, well, you can't play for a sanctioned high school event. Yeah, we don't want you doing that. So I think both sides of the state would then see a high school baseball season taken very seriously and have some of the top players from both sides of the state. I think that would be the ultimate answer. Then we wouldn't have this whole, Sioux Falls doesn't make the Legion tournament. It's no big deal because some of the good players have played Sanford, and they're playing here and they're playing there. They're not playing for Sioux Falls West and East, although they have some good players, but maybe not quite as good. And then you have the state Legion tournament, and you find out, is this still the biggest baseball benchmark in South Dakota? Post 22 is, to me, still the team, still the program, and I don't think it's very close. From history, from their consistency, Post 22 still the high school aged baseball program in South Dakota, I still believe. People can argue, well, they don't have to play, and they don't play this showcase. They don't play travel teams that do this and that. Post 22 is really, really strong. The culture's strong. The players are strong. Going for title number 45. That's not too easy to do. But an interesting South Dakota baseball scene, and it just more confusing along the way. People are finding out, well, Legion baseball still a thing in Rapid City for sure, and it's still pretty big in South Dakota, but it has changed, and you have to admit that. Legion baseball in the heyday of Dave Plouffe and all the domination, it has changed in the state and really in the country in general. High school baseball could play a role in evening the baseball competitive field, meaning high school baseball sanctioned. I think both sides of the state would compete really, really hard, and I think it'd be interesting to watch. State Legion tournament starts tomorrow. Will Post 22 win it? No Sioux Falls teams in the field. Coming right back with Frank Schwab as we get into the NFL. Let's get it going on a Monday. YahooSports.com national NFL writer next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Santa came early. Renewal by Anderson's incredible Christmas in July event is so great, even Santa's shocked at the savings. Get 20% off plus no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. That means no payments till 2027. Renewals Acclaim and Ensemble lines are the best of the best. Santa's not waiting till December to get new windows and doors. Neither should you. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Used cars, trucks, and SUVs, plus GM certified pre-owned at Danny Manhole Rapid Chevrolet. Shop over 350 used cars, trucks, and sport utilities, and buy with no money down, and make no payments for 90 days with qualified credit. All credit apps accepted. Choose from Chevys, GMCs, Rams, Fords, imports, and more. Over 350 of them. You can buy with no down and no payments for 90 days. See us at Danny Manhole Rapid Chevrolet or DannyManholeRapidChevrolet.com.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at BHOSC.com.
Hey golfers, have you experienced Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club? Golf Digest ranked Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club the #1 public course in South Dakota. Off Exit 17 in Spearfish, Elkhorn Ridge offers a golfing experience second to none. Play their 18-hole championship layout with your buddies. Stop into Miller Creek Pub for some drinks, or bring the family out for lunch and try out the new putting green right below Miller Creek Pub. Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club has it all. Book your next tee time at ElkhornRidgeResort.com.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show is back on a Monday. How you doing? You had a nice weekend, I hope. It's always a great day in South Dakota. Say it with me. You've got it. South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio. Packed lineup tonight from high school to the pros. Let's go to the NFL to start. Training camp's underway. What's popping out there? He's covering it for YahooSports.com. NFL writer Frank Schwab in the Pizza Ranch studio hotline. Frank, welcome back. How are you?
Hey, what's going on?
Doing good, man. It's that time of year. We're ready to go. Got a lot of questions for you. I'm going to pop around a little bit. Let me go with a general question. All of these updates, and I like them, but I'm getting updates from this quarterback and that quarterback and how he did and how they look. Do you believe you can tell now how a guy looks, whether it's Caleb Williams or Bo Nix?
I don't know if you can. I don't take much out of this time of year. We overanalyze everything. It's just one of those things, and there's a lot of negativity, I guess, around Caleb. That it's been tough for them to pick up the offense, and there's been mistakes early in camp, but that's kind of how things go. I mean, he's a new coach. We figured that. I will say, though, that the stuff on Bo Nix has been so positive, how he's just so much more comfortable getting plays out, just understanding of the offense. I'm not, going to say that Bo is definitely better than Caleb or anything, especially based on first week of camp. But I think if you're a Broncos fan, you should feel very happy about where Bo Nix is at right now. If you're a Bears fan, you shouldn't be worried about where Caleb's at. He's going to be fine. Ben Johnson's a great offensive coach. He's got a lot of talent around him. But the odds are that if one of those two teams starts slowly on offense, it's probably going to be the Bears because it's just a new regime and all that. So it's worth watching, but I think that patience for everything is usually the best.
Are you buying the Broncos hype? There seems to be a lot of questions about, man, you got a good group. You brought in some signings. People want to be here now. And Sean Payton even talked about it today. He said, 2 years ago we were selling a vision. Now we're selling an inspiring quarterback and a playoff team. Is that real?
I think that they should be excited because the coach is great. Defense should be very, very good. The offensive line it just grew leaps and bounds. That used to be an issue. Now it's not anymore. The only thing is they play in a really tough division. I'm not saying they can't beat the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs, at some point they're going to lose that division. But you have the Chiefs, you have the Chargers, who I'm really high on. I think the Chargers are really good. So I think, all the optimism is worth it. All of it makes sense. It's not unjustified. But there's still some things to prove. But based on where this team was, less than a year ago. Going into the season, I was so very skeptical on the Broncos, what they could be. But I think they've answered a lot of those questions, and when you get down to it, they should be very, very excited about where they're at. And who knows? Maybe if they hit their ceiling, there's nothing that says they can't beat the Chiefs out for the AFC East or AFC West. And if they do that, well, then you got a chance to be one of the top seeds in the AFC, maybe make a long playoff run. So long story short, there's really no reason for them not to be very excited about where they're at.
Frank Schwab in tonight, YahooSports.com, national NFL writer. Follow him on X if you're not, at Yahoo Schwab. I'm going to go to the Vikings. There's J.J. McCarthy's throwing it around. People think he doesn't have to be great. He just has to be pretty good with this Vikings team. So what's the expectations of the Vikings from a guy like you, outside observer, not in the Minnesota market, not a homer? What are the expectations of this Vikings team?
Yeah, and I've kind of come around. I think that, I started the offseason like everybody else, saying, okay, they're going to regress. And, they weren't lucky last year, but 14-3 is just hard to replicate, right? But I think the negativity on them has just been a little bit over the top. Why can't this team be really, really, really good again? There's just There's no good reason. It's, if the same people who are sitting here saying, well, the Vikings, they're going to take a big step back. I mean, their over-under win total right now is 8.5. That's a 6-loss fall. The same people who are saying that are also saying, well, Sam Darnold's really not that good. So what is it? Is it that, you lose Sam Darnold, you go to J.J. McCarthy, and that's the end of the world? Or was Sam Darnold some kind of secret superstar? Like, I think J.J. McCarthy could be better than Sam Darnold. Why not? Like, he's in the same great environment, and Sam Darnold never had a passer rating over 80 in his career before last season. I think you put J.J. McCarthy with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, a better offensive line. Obviously, the coaching staff is fantastic. Brian Flores is going to have that defense really, really good again. Why can't the Vikings be, maybe not 14 wins, but why can't they be competing with the Lions for that division and a playoff team again? I don't know why the pendulum has swung so far against the Vikings. I still look at that as a very talented team with maybe one of the top 3 coaching staffs in the NFL. So I just think again, the Vikings aren't going to repeat what they did last year. It's almost impossible. Any team that wins 14 games, I would not say is going to repeat as 14-game winner. But I don't see any reason to believe that they're going to take some massive step back with J.J. McCarthy. I think McCarthy's going to be just fine. Why wouldn't he? A very smart organization traded up to draft him 10th overall. Like, there's just really no reason for me to believe this guy is falling in Minnesota.
So I'm going to go to Dallas. How do you think the Cowboys are handling Micah Parsons here?
I mean, it's just what the Cowboys do, and even the quotes coming out of, a lot of their players like Dak, I think they all kind of realize this is just what the Cowboys do. This is what Jerry Jones does. He's going to wait, and then we're going to get to late August, and Micah's going to sign the biggest deal ever for a defensive player in NFL history, surpassing T.J. Watt. Everybody's going to have this big press conference, and Micah's going to be smiling big, and Jerry will be there, and he can talk about how he got Micah Parsons this huge deal. This is just what they do. Why? I don't know necessarily. They could have had Micah Parsons $5 million a year cheaper had they signed him a year and a half ago to an extension. But they like to wait, and by doing so, they cost themselves money. I don't think it's the smartest business practice there is, but I don't sit here and really worry about it. They're going to sign him. It's going to happen. Everybody will be happy in the end of the day. I don't think Micah Parsons is going anywhere. I don't think you're going to have to worry about him missing games or anything like that. I think this is just Jerry's way of doing things, and everybody in Dallas is kind of used to it by now.
So number 1 QB, Cam Ward's going to be thrown in right away. He probably would have anyway, right, Frank? So he was going to play anyway, but people say, well, he's going to have to start and play now right away. Is that a tough thing for him?
No, not really. I mean, I think that a lot of any quarterback drafted number 1, I think the expectation is you play right away. There's very, very, very few quarterbacks over the last 20 years have been drafted, since the Aaron Rodgers draft, which wasn't quite 20 years ago, but close. Since the Aaron Rodgers draft, there are very, very few quarterbacks that do not start at least one game as a rookie. It was, for a long time, it was only Jake Locker and Brady Quinn were the only guys on that list. I think there's maybe a couple others who have joined him since then. But mostly quarterbacks play right away. I don't subscribe to this theory that you need to sit to learn. Why? Like, you get out there, you play, you take some lumps for sure, but I think guys like Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, they played right away and they were fine. So, Jaden Daniels last year. I'm not saying that Cam Ward is those guys, but I don't see any reason he can't be either. I think he's a really, really good player. He just kind of got lumped in with everybody else. Everybody had this negativity about this quarterback draft class. Well, it might not be good as a whole. It might not be deep. But I think there's one guy in there who's going to be a star quarterback. I think Cam Ward's really could be really good, and he's not on a great team right away, and that's going to hurt him. But I'm not going to overreact to anything that happens his rookie year. I think Cam Ward's going to end up being just fine, and playing right away is no problem at all.
Okay, so preseason is upon us. Are we going to see a lot and hear a lot about Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland?
Oh, yeah. I think he's going to be, once we get the games especially, depending on when he plays, is he just going to play 2 series at the end of the fourth quarter and throw 3 passes? Then it's hard, what are you going to say about him? But I think if he plays, if he puts any kind of highlights on film, I think you're going to see a lot of just chatter about him. He's just one of those guys that we just like talking about. So, yeah, I think that no matter what Shedeur does in the preseason in August, I think we're going to talk about him more than we do probably any other quarterback, including Cam Ward. It's just he's one of those guys, and it's going to be interesting. It makes for interesting stuff in August when not a whole lot honestly happens. It definitely will give us something to talk about.
Training camp's underway. Frank Schwab covering it. YahooSports.com, national NFL writer. Frank, good to have you. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Frank Schwab on the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, YahooSports.com, national NFL writer, getting us started. A little rapid-fire stuff as training camp gets underway. So I keep on saying, I have a couple of Vikings buddies. They're like, so are the Vikings' expectations? Like, what are the expectations? I feel like they're going to be good. I feel like the Vikings' expectations are high. And then I see from national guys, nobody's saying much. Everybody's like, I don't know. So I think the Vikings have always, they're better this way. Just keep it low-key. Just keep it low-key. It's never a great thing to do the hype train with the Vikings. You guys know that. You know that. Just keep it Minnesota low-key. I think the expectations are really high. Everybody says we just don't know the quarterback. J.J. McCarthy's we're going to find out quickly. You're going to find out. Can J.J. just, they say, be good enough? He doesn't have to be outstanding. Just be solid. And they think the Vikings are that good of a team. If he's just solid, the Vikings are a really, really good team. So, very interesting stuff. Coming right back, let's go high school here in South Dakota. A couple of items I want to talk to Dan Swartos about tonight. What is this $1,000 fine idea about fans if they storm the court at high school state events? Where did this come from? And the vote, first reading, is going to be coming up on Wednesday at the meeting. Dan Swartos, the executive director for the Activities Association, joins us from Pier next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Yeah, can I get the taco burger value combo? $15. That's a value? It's a $2 burger, man. I know it's a taco and a burger, but come on. Can you find a better value? Yeah, I can find a better value right across the street. At the bait shop? No, not at the bait shop. At the gas station. I can get a South Dakota Lottery scratch game for as little as $1. You can actually win thousands of dollars. Almost enough to eat here.
Good fun. Must be 18 to play. Please play responsibly.
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and beyond suffer a setback, Monument Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
Eating in Deadwood has so many options thanks to Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort. Wake up with the trusted taste of Starbucks or sit down to a full breakfast at Best Brews. Looking for lunch? Build a wonderfully fresh sandwich from Jersey Mike's. Grab some quick and cheesy goodness from Pizza Hut or pull up a chair in Patty O'Neill's Irish Pub. Need something a little more intimate for dinner? Well, Snitches is all the buzz with an evolving menu of chef-designed culinary creations. There's something for everyone to eat at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort, located on historic Main Street in Deadwood.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
Ever since Barron's Wilson Funeral Home first opened their doors in Rapid City 140 years ago, they have continued to make personal service their number one priority. In your time of grief, they offer a personal touch by being at your side through every step of the funeral process. They answer difficult questions and guide you toward other professional services you may need. See for yourself the wide variety of services they can provide for you by visiting their website at barronswilson.com.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back into this South Dakota Sports Talk Show. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio across the state. Thanks for being here. Stream us all the time on X every afternoon at Nate Brown Show. So follow the show on X. If you're on the app, you've got us at Nate Brown Show on X, and you can watch us live right now. Jake Shapiro is coming up from denversports.com, talking Deion Sanders and the Buffs. Big announcement there today. Zach Borg's on the way, Sioux Falls sports broadcaster. He'll be covering the State Legion baseball tournament. We'll break down some baseball on the local side coming up. Dan Schwartos is in. I was just talking to him off the air. Summer's about over. It's like over, man. But not quite. A little bit left. Executive Director of the South Dakota High School Activities Association, Dan Schwartos, on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Dan, good to have you back. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Well, I appreciate the time. I will say, a lot of the sports stuff, it's already starting. There's some tryouts going on for soccer and stuff like this, so it just feels like it starts earlier and earlier, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, we just had a calendar turnover, so it kind of shifts back, and then it works its way forward for 6-7 years, and then rotates back again. But I'm with you. It feels like summer just started, and it's about over already.
All right, that's okay. I mean, we love high school sports, so we're getting ready for that. Speaking of high school sports, I want to ask you about this. SDPB has been in the news, and you guys have had a great relationship with them, covering your state events for a long time. It was just announced on my show, actually, that they're going to do that again. So explain that process. SDPB put in a bid. There was another company that put in a bid as well. Explain how that went.
Hey, it went really well. It was pretty interesting. You know, we've been with SDPB since, I think, somewhere around 2000, 2001, where it started out, they were kind of helping out another company, and then they ended up taking it over, and we've been with them for 25 years now, and so every 5 years or so, we open this up to a RFP, a request for proposal, and we send it out to all the broadcasters across the state, and you know, we ask that they cover everything, and that's been valuable to us, and that, you know, they cover cheer and dance just the same as they cover football or basketball or whatever. And so we haven't really had any other bidders who are willing to do everything. And you get into the network stuff, and they've got college football, and they've got NCAA basketball, March Madness during their state tournaments and everything else. So it gets difficult to do that because of their network commitments. But this year we did have a second bidder out of North Dakota, and so just looking at both of them, but it's been such a good, positive relationship with SDPB, and the two great things with SDPB are one, that they cover everything, and two, that it's free. It's not the streaming isn't pay-per-view, and that's really valuable to us as a service to the people of South Dakota, and that doesn't matter where you live. Even if you just have rabbit ears, you can generally get SDPB, and you're able to get it over the air. And then there's there's a streaming platform with it as well, and they've got an archive of all of our past events, and biggest thing to me are the people, and there's a lot of great people that work for them, and get to know them over the years, and so we're really happy to be continuing on with SDPB, and they've done great things for us and great things for parents and grandparents and in the state of South Dakota over the years.
Yeah, I think they've done an outstanding job, Dan. I've said the guys at SDPB have done an outstanding job covering South Dakota high school activities. Now, with this national public broadcasting story and funding, there's some national public broadcasting funding that's going to be cut. It is going to impact SDPB, and that's a work in progress. Do you get worried at all about the high school contract here?
To be honest, and what I told, talking with them over the last week, I've been more worried about them personally. Julie Overgaard and some of the other folks there. They've had a long year with some threats to their funding statewide, and now threats to their funding. With the funding going away federally, it's been a really, really long year for them personally, and I've been more worried about that with them personally, and if it comes down to that and they can't fulfill it, we'll figure it out, but I have faith in them, and I think that they've got a lot of smart people there, and I think that they'll work through it. I'm not too worried about that aspect of it, but if it comes to it, we'll have to deal with it.
How important is that contract to you, meaning the funding side of it? I know there's money involved there. Is that a big deal to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's, we don't get any, we're not a state entity. We don't get any state funding. Most of our funding comes from gate receipts and state events, but another 30% or so comes from corporate contracts, which includes our broadcasting contract. So that contract is a part of those corporate contracts, and to be replacing that money, we'd have to figure that out, and it would be difficult to do, but we'd work through it, and we'd get through it, and I don't know how much else to say about that other than it's important to us. It helps us out, because we depend on that, and there's only a handful of our events that actually make money, and those events pay for the rest of the things that we do. And you think about debate and one-act play and all-state band and some things like that, and those all depend on those corporate dollars, and those all depend on those dollars over and above that we make on our larger events. So it would just fall in with that, and we'd have to figure it out. But that is a big part of what we do and a big part of our budget. So it would impact us, and we'd have to work through it if it came to that.
Well, it sounds like SDPB really wants to keep that going. I mean, they got the contract with you, and they say they intend to fulfill it. I think that high school activity event coverage has been great for them as well. Dan Swartos is on tonight, Executive Director, South Dakota High School Activities Association. Want to get your assessment of a board meeting item. Board meeting's coming up this week, and an item on the agenda talks about after-state events. And we all saw what happened in Spearfish, and I had you on the show after the State A girls tournament. Fans were on the court and trying to deal with that and the awards and how the policy was in. Now it seems like there's a policy change, at least a first reading of it, of a potential $1,000 fine to the opposing school, paid to the opposing school, and the fans getting ejected right away. How did this come about here?
Well, we started looking at it after that State A, and I was the one at the State A girls in Spearfish there, and I can tell you we got lucky at that event. Had one of those kids knocked over a player from Makpialuta or said something to a player of Makpialuta, that was one of the most emotionally charged atmospheres I've been in a long time, and it just takes one little thing, and things can get out of hand in a hurry. So, as I told you after that, we've had some kids run on the court before, and we've been able to stop them and get them back. And and our policy right now says if that happens, then you don't award, you don't give the awards out, and you give the awards to the AD, who gives them to the kids in the locker room. And I don't know if that's the best thing either, because those girls on the court, speaking with the Class A championship, those girls didn't do anything. Some classmates on the side were excited and they ran onto the court, and our policy right now would say, well, if they run on the court, then you don't give their awards out. And I've never not given awards out to kids who earned them. And so, but I'm starting my 9th year now, and that's the first full-on court storming that we had. And, I listened to your show the other day, and I know a caller called in and, we're trying to be fun haters, or, stop any fun that kids are able to have. And
right.
That's not what it's about. We're not trying to see you can't have fun, but that could have been really bad. If one of those kids had knocked over a Makpia Luta player or said something, and there's a lot of high emotions going on at the time, that could have spiraled over out of control with any two teams. That could have spiraled out of control really quickly. And so our thought was, well, and I put the language together. My thought was, well, it doesn't really seem right to punish the kids on the court because they didn't do anything. They're just celebrating, and some kids come and dogpile on top of them as they're celebrating winning on a tip-in shot. But we also don't want to encourage, people to do it either. And we don't want it to look like we're out for a money grab, so that's why we put it in there that it would be payable to the opposing team, because we're not looking to do this to make money for ourselves. We're trying to prevent people from doing this, not because we don't want them to have fun, but because, it's kind of like the saying, nothing good happens after midnight or whatever. There's not many good things that could happen from that. Yes, kids are having fun and they're celebrating, and that's great. I don't have anything against kids having fun and celebrating, but there's a lot of bad things that could happen off of that too. Someone could trip and fall and hurt themselves running off the court. They could knock down a player from the other team and hurt them. Some dad from the opposing team could get upset and run down on the court and shove one of the high school kids from the other team. And there's a lot of bad things that could happen from it. And I know 90% of the time that's not going to happen, but that 10% of the time is what keeps people like me awake at night. And so we're just trying to figure out a way to, and the administrators there do as best they can.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Who is responsible? So a team doesn't get, or a school doesn't get fined $1,000. Who is responsible, Dan? Is it the administrators, the security at the state event? Who's responsible to keep the people off the court?
It's kind of, part of it's us. I know last year, I at the AA boys, I was over by the Brandon Valley crowd trying to make sure that they didn't jump over the barriers to stay out. Part of it's us, part of it's the homeschool's administration, part of it's the security within there. It's sort of all of us working together, and of course you can't stop everyone from doing everything. And we haven't had a whole lot of instances of it, but people saw those kids from Sioux Falls Christian do it, and then it was the next weekend. I know a lot of those student sections were going, well, we're going to rush the court. We're going to rush the court. And so, it's trying to stop it from happening, and not because we don't want kids to have fun. It's because we don't want something really unfortunate to happen, and we don't want something to take away from what the kids on the court have accomplished.
Sure.
And so it's walking that fine line, and I know, some of the college conferences have done the same thing, and that's in a whole different. You got 100,000 people in a stadium at an SEC game, and there's no way to hold them back either. But there's some bad things and some that could happen with that, and we're trying to keep it all positive and trying to make sure that those bad things don't happen. So it was an idea. I'm trying to get some feedback from our board, and I know that was shared out, and there was a bar and grill that said, well, we'll pay the $1,000 fine if anyone does it. And I'm going, well, that just kind of defeats the purpose of what we're doing here. So we'll have a discussion as a board and see what they think about it and about the fines, or about, maybe we'll keep it as is. But I hate the thought of not giving a kid an award that they've earned because some of their classmates decided to run on the court. So I'm not sure what the answer is.
You're in a tough spot, I will say that.
Yeah.
You're in a tough spot. Before I let you run it, so that's going to be discussed on Wednesday at the board meeting. Before I let you run, really quick, Dan, there's a football program that decided to not play varsity schedule again. And this has been happening. And you know this because you guys have had to discuss, how do we stop the schedule changes right before the season? So Sisseton, they saying our numbers are down, we're going to go JV, and they pull the plug on the varsity schedule. How can you implement a policy to say, boy, if you're in on a schedule, you got to stick with it?
I'm not sure. That's the $1 million question. The alternative is to say, no, Sisseton, you need to play, and they're going week by week, and their opponents don't know week to week if they're going to play or not. If they get a kid hurt, and meanwhile they've got 8th graders and 9th graders trying to play 11B football, and the safety risks with that as well. So that's kind of the question we have: was it better if they come out beforehand and say, no, we're going to play a JV schedule, and then you give everyone an opportunity to find that game, and their opponents aren't losing a game? Or is it better to have them go week by week? I know Cologne kind of took it week by week last year with a pretty small roster, and they were able to, I think, play most of their games. Edgemont was in this situation for a while. Bison was in this situation for a while. I think maybe what we'll look at is something put in place to make sure that they're really looking at it and making sure, sort of a last resort type thing, and maybe you're not eligible for playoffs for the next couple of years if you do this, or
Sure.
I'm not sure what the answer is, and
it's tough.
I think if you're in the situation where you're not going to be able to field the team, it's better to let us know up front, so that, because I think a lot of their opponents have been able to find replacement games, and some of them are playing home and aways, and they're playing the same team twice. But at least their opponents are getting that 8th game in. I don't know if that's better than taking it week by week, and all of a sudden, you find out Tuesday we're not going to be able to play Friday, and then your kids just lose out on a game.
Yeah.
So that's part of the discussion that we'll have.
Dan Swartos on tonight. I wanted to ask you a few things. Appreciate your perspective on it. Executive Director, Activities Association board meeting coming up this week. Dan, thanks for hopping on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for covering high school sports.
Thanks a lot. Dan Swartos on. Appreciate his time. South Dakota High School Activities Association, Executive Director, and the board meeting. Some of those items being discussed coming up this week. Coming right back on the Nate Brown Show, I'm going to give a big compliment to an NFL coach that I've been a little iffy on. Next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Santa came early. Renewal by Anderson's incredible Christmas in July event is so great, even Santa's shocked to the savings. Get 20% off plus no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. That means no payments till 2027. Renewals Acclaim and Ensemble lines are the best of the best. Santa's not waiting till December to get new windows and doors. Neither should you. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside. You don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Slight chance of rain showers tonight, otherwise partly cloudy skies. Lows level off around 62. Northerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 79. Cloudy skies expected. Cloudy skies tomorrow night. Storms likely. Lows around 61. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 71 degrees.
Hey, sports parents and ballers of all ages, Rapid City has a new sports facility that you have to check out. E3 Sports Complex on East North Street is the newest indoor sports facility featuring 4 full courts. E3 Sports is here to serve the community and wants all athletes of any age to come and experience expert training, coaching, and the opportunity to unlock your athletic potential. Memberships and court rentals are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, your finances, your insurance, your life? This is State Farm Agent Matt McCormick. Let me help you simplify and get to a better state. With me handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. Even more money, too. Because adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40%. Call me, State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, and get to a better state with State Farm. 348-0464.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome in. The Nate Brown Show is on Monday edition of the program, South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio. You can text us on the Barron's Wilson text line. A reminder, 605-720-1067. That's how you can be a part of the conversation tonight. All right. It's time to give a little compliment before we get set for the second hour of the program. It's a compliment, and I'm not a hater of this guy at all. This is my team. I mean, it's my team. I think this guy's a solid coach. He's a winner. He has a proven track record. But I haven't been a huge fan of his attitude, the ego. I just haven't been a huge fan of how he treated certain players. And I'm talking about your guy, my boy, Sean Payton. I like to call him Sparky down in Denver, the head coach of the Broncos. I didn't like how he treated Russell Wilson. I've made that known. I thought Russell was playing from behind there, didn't have the support of the coach and the whole thing. And I understand it's all over. It's done. It's gone. But I am going to bring Sean Payton back to the top because of what he did today. And if you don't believe he has a major role in this, you're crazy. So the Broncos decided to give a big extension, pretty big, pretty substantial, to Broncos wide receiver Courtland Sutton. So Sean Payton talked about it. Hey, we're getting close to a deal. And here's why I give him a compliment. Most of the smart guys say, Sutton's not that great. He's not explosive. He's not a number one. Courtland Sutton, this. And we act like we can just go out and find the best of the best wide receivers. The only guy I've seen from Courtland Sutton, the guy I've seen, unbelievable hands, top target by far, great teammate, plays with anybody and everybody, great leader, not a problem at all, pouting like all these other wide receivers that pout. And so attitude, effort, character. I'm that type of guy. And Courtland Sutton fits that bill, and I'm glad Sean Payton, I think, could have been very easy to say, we're going to give a $92 million extension to Courtland Sutton. We got young quarterback. We got young wide receivers. We can fill this gap. That's not going to be a problem. I'm surprised they did it, and it's the right call, and I love to see Sean Payton bringing back a locker room guy like Courtland Sutton. He's not just a character, culture guy. He's a big-time player, and he's going to be Bo Nix's number one target by far. So not a miss at all, and I'm going to give your guy and my boy, Sean Payton, some credit here, some big credit. They put Courtland Sutton back in. It's going to be at about $23 million a year. Lock him in for the future. 4-year extension for the Broncos wide receiver. He's going to rank 16th as far as money annually for a wide receiver. And that's 16th for a wide receiver money annually. I'll take that all day because he's a player. He's a player, and he's a big-time Broncos leader. We're talking, you can't just let a guy like that go. And I thought they might do it. And I credit Sparky back from the Nate Brown kind of iffy spot to, that's a good call, Sean. I like the way we're starting 2025. Courtland Sutton back in. Coming right back on the Nate Brown Show. I got a question of the day for the audience tonight, okay? Let's see here. Question of the day for the audience. What town in South Dakota is the best baseball town? Fans, history, excellence, baseball. They love it. They turn out a product. The fans support it. We're talking baseball in South Dakota. I want to know what town is the best baseball town in South Dakota. I have the answer, but I wonder if you do. 605-720-1067. We come back with the question of the day coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Time to stock up on deals at Fleet Farm's Truckload Super Sale, July 31st through August 3rd. Get a Blackstone 28-inch Omnivore griddle bundle for just $269.99. Our own 24 packs of drinking water are 4 for $10. A WorkMax linkable 30-inch LED shop light is only $6.59. And 40-pound bags of black oil sunflower seed are just $18.99. Head to your local Fleet Farm to haul away truckload savings. And check out our weekly ad for even more deals at fleetfarm.com.
Hey, Sioux Falls sports fans, there's a great new sports bar in Sioux Falls, Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar on West Russell Street in the Ramada Water Park Hotel. If you want to watch games, UFC, they've got it, wall-to-wall TVs, and the best part, great food. Gourmet pizza at Boston's, tons of wing options, great burgers, and a lot more. Bring the family, bring the team, bring your crew to the new Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar in Sioux Falls on West Russell Street. Plus, you can order online for lunch or dinner. Just go to bostons.com.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely, and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger? Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
Celebrate freedom all month long at Spearfish Motors. New GMC Sierra light duties with savings up to $6,250, or choose 0% financing for 36 months. Drive away in a new GMC Sierra HD with discounts up to $3,750, or explore the rugged new GMC Canyon with up to $2,000 in total savings on select models. Spearfish GMC Cadillac. Shop anytime online at spearfishmotors.com.
GMC, we are professional grade.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Ever dreamed of building something amazing? Builders First Source in Rapid City, Spearfish, and Hot Springs is your go-to building materials partner. Whether you're building new or giving new life to an old space, we provide step-by-step guidance from drafting and cabinetry design to lifelike visualization and top-quality materials. It's your vision, and we're here to make it real. Visit BLDR.com. Builders First Source, your Black Hills partner in building every step of the way.
Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in South Dakota. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It begins by making their grades and being on time for practice. It includes learning to listen, following directions, accepting responsibility, being a good role model. And it's about respect for officials, opponents, the rules, and each other. The result? It transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. High school sports. There's so much more than just a game. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, let's get going. High Energy Monday. Are we ready? Second hour, ready to go. The Nate Brown Show is on. Thanks for being here. South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio. Stream us on X right now, at Nate Brown Show. Getting our question of the day, all the good stuff there. We interact with you on X, at Nate Brown Show. You can watch us live, welcome in studio, and on YouTube. The channel's live right now, The Nate Brown Show. Catch us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We'd appreciate it. The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. Let's look at what's on tap tonight. Jake Shapiro's coming up from DenverSports.com. We'll talk Deion and the Buffs. And I got some things to say about that. I have some opinion about that. We don't have to be hot takes here, but we got to be genuine. Let's be genuine tonight with Deion and the Buffs in this scenario, because there was a lot of people doing some bad stuff. And Deion came out today, a big deal with him, and there was people trying to throw him under the bus. I'm not having it. Jake Shapiro coming up. He'll talk Buffs and some Broncos. He's been out at training camp as well. Zach Borg's in tonight talking baseball. He'll be covering the State A Legion baseball tournament in Watertown starting tomorrow. Post-22 baseball. Zach Borg, Sioux Falls sports broadcaster, coming up. That's what's on tap tonight. Brought to you by the Campfire Bar. Great patio at the new Mr. Liquor 2 off Catron Boulevard. Live sports is on. Get your favorite baseball team at the Campfire Bar with 20 South Dakota brews on tap. Campfire Bar, Mr. Liquor 2 off Catron Boulevard. What's on tap on the Nate Brown Show? You want in tonight? 605-720-1067. Our Barron's Wilson text line is open. Listener text line for you. 605-720-1067. Got some listener text about my makeup. I did a little makeup with Sean Payton. Listener text, Nate, I think you're jumping the shark with the Broncos. The Broncos are just as likely to go backwards than forward this year. You should wait to jump on the Sean Payton bandwagon. Well, I'm not. No. I mean, I'm a Broncos lifer, so I'm all in. I don't know if they go backwards, but I'm not totally sure they're going to light it up like people are kind of talking about. Like people think they're just going to light it up. I'm not totally sure on that. I try and be a realist with the Broncos. I take a lot of heat from both sides. Both sides, Broncos homers and Broncos haters. Listener text from a Broncos fan, I absolutely love the Courtland Sutton signing. Well, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, that's just outstanding. I'm a huge Courtland Sutton fan. Let's see. Let's go to baseball. Speaking of Legion baseball, state tournament starts tomorrow. You have this first game of the tournament's post-22 against post-320. The Rapid City rivalry is the first game of the tournament tomorrow. Zach Borg's going to be covering it. I've been thinking about this. I've never asked this question. What is the best baseball town in South Dakota? And what I mean by this, quality baseball, really good fan base that loves baseball, because people, say, oh, baseball it's not as popular as some of these other sports anymore. I want to know where baseball is healthy, alive, and well. Best town for baseball in South Dakota. I know the answer. And I'm serious about this, and I don't think any other town can take it down. How is Rapid City still not the best baseball town in South Dakota? Rapid City is still the best baseball town in South Dakota. Whether you want to talk, I mean, just go to Fitzgerald Stadium. If you haven't been to a Legion baseball game, this is Legion baseball. This is high school age kids. And there's thousands of fans that go there all summer long. They have huge crowds. They have a great program. So we're talking about, and I know this, I've seen Legion baseball around the state. I've seen it in Montana. There's nobody that has a fan base and a support for passionate baseball fans than a Legion program like Post 22. So my belief is Rapid City is still the best baseball town in South Dakota. And I say still because people wonder, well, Post 22 hasn't won as much as they did before. They're trying to get another state title this year. Maybe they'll get it, but they're not what they used to be. And so I don't know if Rapid City, the Little Leagues used to make it, but now they get beat by Sioux Falls. I'm just talking from Little League to fans to Legion. Rapid City's a healthy baseball town. I haven't been in some of these smaller towns around South Dakota with the baseball following there. When it comes to summer, baseball in Rapid City is really healthy, in my opinion. I still think Rapid City beats, and I know Sioux Falls has the travel thing, but it's all fragmented. There's travel. There's some Legion. They're here. They're there. I think Rapid City has the best fan base and the best town for baseball. I think it is I think South Dakota's baseball town is still Rapid City. You tell me if you think that's the case. I want to know if you agree with that. Is Rapid City the best baseball town still in South Dakota from the Post-22 heyday to now to 2025? I don't know of any other town that can hang on and say, no, yeah, we have passionate baseball fans. There's been some success. There's some semi-pro teams, stuff like that, but passionate baseball fans. We have a West River vote here coming in. Listener text, I know Spearfish really likes their semi-pro team, the college woodbat team, the Sasquatch. Yeah, they do. They do. I think the Sasquatch do pretty well. I went to a couple of games, haven't been this year, but the Spearfish Sasquatch, it's a woodbat college league, and they do like that team in Spearfish. It gets some good support. Let's see what the vote is coming in. Listener reaction from Dale out East River. Obviously, Post 22 is head and shoulders over everyone, but several towns have high-quality youth teams now and long-time terrific amateur teams. So I don't know if the amateur thing, I mean, it's big, huge, East River, huge. But these small towns, are they really, really passionate from the youth up to the amateur level of baseball? Are they really passionate? I think Rapid City's still baseball king, I think. 59% of you are voting Rapid City is not the best baseball town. South Dakota State, or the state, has caught up. 59% of you say Rapid City cannot be considered the best baseball town. The rest of the state has caught up. 42% of you say from the fans to the quality of baseball, Rapid City is the best baseball town in South Dakota. 42% of you say yes. 58% of you on Twitter say no. Listener reaction from Kyle. Yes, Rapid City is. 605-720-1067. I don't know any other town with the quality from the kids up to the high school age and the fans that come to watch it. Like the Post-22 support, that is like a minor league team. You go to some city that has minor league baseball, the fans that Post-22 gets that's like a minor league setting. You just don't see that at the Legion level. Coming back, let's go to Denver. Jake Shapiro is on. Deion Sanders with a big announcement today. What's their reaction? Jake Shapiro from Denver Sports coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people, from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Santa came early. Renewal by Anderson's incredible Christmas in July event is so great, even Santa's shocked at the savings. Get 20% off plus no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. That means no payments till 2027. Renewals Acclaim and Ensemble lines are the best of the best. Santa's not waiting till December to get new windows and doors. Neither should you. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Cloudy skies, lows level off around 62, northerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Chance of thunderstorms tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 79, cloudy skies expected. Cloudy skies tomorrow night, storms likely, lows around 61. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 71 degrees.
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Glad to have you here. Thanks for making this show possible. Hope you're having a solid Monday. How's everybody's Monday? I mean, it's interesting. We come in, we do the show on Monday. How's your Monday? Are Mondays terrible? Or I always think Mondays aren't too bad. I mean, it's not great. Mondays aren't too bad, but they get a bad rap. We're back to the grind. I hope you're doing well. Summertime, end of July. We're getting set for football. Everybody's out there. Training camp, NFL started. Fall camp, college football starting. I want to go to Jake Shapiro to get his feedback on a couple of things from the Denver sports scene. He covers it, denversports.com. The Buffs had a big press conference with Deion Sanders today. Deion Sanders and his medical team unveiling he had bladder cancer, a tumor there, had to remove his entire bladder, aggressive, and got a new bladder. He's been 14 surgeries. I mean, this is wild stuff. And he's back to coach the Buffs. That was the announcement today. Jake, welcome back on. How are you?
I'm doing better than Deion Sanders, I think. I haven't had any surgeries recently.
That's good. Were you surprised to see this announcement here? This is serious stuff, and he says he's doing great. Medical team says he's great. What was your thoughts on this, just seeing this today?
Yeah, I mean, we all knew that there was something serious going on to some extent because he has not been in Boulder in months, and he had been dealing with some sort of health scare. So it's not a surprise to find out it's serious. I think it's always a little shocking when you hear cancer, right? Like that puts a fear into all of our hearts because of, I think all of us have had an experience with that in our lives, and it's not a great thing, right? And similarly, when you hear about someone dealing with a bladder or a kidney issue or something like that, and, you know, I think a lot of us, the older our folks get and the people in our lives, they sometimes deal with that. I have someone in my family going through that. That puts a significant change into their lives, and this is a person in Deion Sanders for a lot of people in a lot of this country that is reminiscent of their youth. It reminds them of youthfulness and joy because of what he did as an athlete. So for him to be associated with something that, quite honestly, is something that old people go through with diseases and, you know, parts of their body being taken out, it is shocking. And I think just the main thing here, the main message is wow, thank goodness he was getting checked in, and there's a good medical team at the University of Colorado that is, you know, following him around, and they were able to catch this before it really did a number on his body.
So I watched a lot of his discussion and the questions. I took a couple of things away. He said, you got to go get checked out, you know, and so whether people, you know, are like, oh, we don't like going to the doctor, I think that's big. He says, you got to check stuff like this out. And then he joked around on top of it, you know, I depend on depends now. I mean, it's wild, to be honest with you. This is tough. This is tough to deal with. What did you take away from his mindset?
Yeah, well, I think it's honorable that he is telling us just how bad his issues are with needing to use the bathroom and, you know, joking around to some extent that he's going to need a porta potty on the sideline. I don't know how much of a joke that really actually is. You know, this is going to be a person that's going to have issues with controlling their, you know, for a lack of a better term, their urine for the rest of their lives. And, you know, I feel horrible for the man that this is something he's having to go through, but it is very admirable that he's been so honest with us. And, of course, Nate, this is a guy so cool that he's so cool enough that he's like, now I've got a Depend sponsorship. Like, how does he turn this into money? It's ridiculous. He's the only person in the world that could have turned it into money. And honestly, you know, Deion's not someone that gets political. He's not someone that really jumps into those spheres. And I'm not saying this is that controversial of a thing, but I would hope that he turns into an even stronger messenger. And this is just the opening stages, right? We found out today, but I hope this is an opportunity for him to talk about men's health and talk about some things that are uncomfortable that maybe can help some people out, because that would be a really great gift from Deion Sanders to the rest of us later in his life.
So he said that he didn't tell Shedeur or Shiloh about this until, like, just now. That's wild to me. He said, I didn't want him to be worried about me. I wanted him to focus on the NFL. That was wild to me. How about you?
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And, you know, none of the kids seemingly knew except for one detail where, you know, Shedeur saw him one time on FaceTime and was like, wait, what's going on? And he still didn't know. So I think it's interesting that he chose to fight this battle pretty much with just his oldest son, Deion Sanders Jr., by his side. Neither of his daughters were in the know, at least as far as we know. And it was really just a small group of medical personnel from the University of Colorado, as well as his bosses at the University of Colorado, that ever knew about this. And, I mean, upon reflection, because of the news is so big, and the fact that it didn't get out now for multiple months, it had to be a very, very tight-knit circle that only knew about this. So, you know, it's very cool in a way that Deion didn't want to burden his sons with this while they're going through a transition in their lives. But at the same time, you know, if it was my father, I'd certainly want to know what was going on in his life if it was this drastic and dire.
Yeah.
And thankfully it wasn't. You know, thankfully they, like I said, they caught it very early, and he's able to make, you know, he is cancer-free.
Jake Shapiro's on tonight talking Buffs. Dion, big announcement today with his medical team. He battled bladder cancer, had his bladder removed, and surgeries to install a kind of a replacement bladder. Lost 25 pounds. So he's back coaching. He says, I'm feeling good now. I'm ready. So people are saying, wow, he's back. He's ready. People have questioned Dion's commitment in many ways. When Shadour's gone, he's gone. And now he's coming back after this. What do you say?
Yeah, I think it's really impressive that he is going to make a comeback given these circumstances, and he'll still be at the University of Colorado. I'm not sure how long he's going to stay at the University of Colorado. I still have question marks about him in the long-term future. But he did just sign a massive, massive deal to be the University of Colorado's head football coach. I mean, he's the fourth highest paid coach in the country. I think a lot of us would have a lot of motivation, no matter the feeling of it, just because of the fiscal obligation, to get back onto the field and do your job because of the amount of money he's scheduled to make.
Jake Shapiro on tonight. Big announcement with Deion Sanders and the Buffs. He's back and ready after a big health issue. I want to go to the Broncos, get your read. I'm a big Courtland Sutton fan. Maybe I'm a fanboy. You might want to say that, but I like Courtland Sutton's leadership, character. He doesn't pout. He's a locker room guy. He's just a good teammate, and I think he's a nice player. Is he nice enough to give the extension to today?
Yeah, I mean, Nate, this is being reported as a 4-year deal for $92 million, I believe, off the top of my head. It's actually a 5-year deal because it doesn't start till after this season. So that means you're going to be paying a 34-year-old Courtland Sutton $18 million, which basically means the expectation is in 2029, I think this is off the top of my head, I'm just doing some math, he is going to be a 1,000-yard receiver, right? That's what you would expect from a guy making that much money. Nate, in the last, since 2010, I looked it up today, since 2010, there have only been 4 wide receivers age 34 or older that have had a 1,000-yard season. So this is a big-time bet on the now for the Denver Broncos, who haven't had a wide receiver this good in a bit. But in the same regard, I do think that this is something that might be voidable with the last couple of years of his contract. So this is something they have to do to continue the development of Bo Nix.
So would you have done it? Would you have done this deal? Some people have said, nah, I would have let Sutton go.
I personally would have probably played out this year and see how it's gone. But the Broncos don't have a number 2 wide receiver either, Nate. So that would be a huge bet, taking this into the contract year with the amount of balls expected to go to Courtland Sutton. But, he is 30 years old, and you'd be making a bet that basically you'd be drafting a number 1 wide receiver in the first round of next year's draft and expecting that player to be, very good right away. So, and I think a lot of people expect maybe not this year, but next year the Broncos to be one of those elite teams in the NFL. So, I personally play it a little bit more stringent, the way Bill Belichick did in his career. But at the same time, I understand why the Broncos would be, I don't know if desperate enough or scared enough is the right word, but not willing to let Courtland Sutton go to the point where they're going to maybe have to pay for it on the back half of that contract.
Last one for Jake Shapiro. I'll let you run. Nikola Jokic, you've covered him. You follow him closely. His horse won a race, and he was so happy. He was breaking down in tears. He was so happy, and then he's getting heat from everybody saying, well, he's more happy about the horse race than winning the title. Is that right?
I mean, Nate, I followed this guy, the entire city of Denver, walking up and down the blocks next to him in the parade. I've seen very few people in my life happier than him in that moment. I think that people have a hard time ascribing different emotions to different things, right? Like, when you get awarded best talk show host in South Dakota, like you should, Nate, you might not let out a reaction, but when, your favorite sports team wins an award, or your son or someone in your life does something, it's a little bit easier to cheer, right? So I think it's hard to understand how Nikola feels, but I can tell you as someone who's been around him, when he's in that locker room and the Nuggets do something good, it means a lot to him emotionally.
That's good stuff. DenverSports.com for his coverage. Find him there. Jake Shapiro on tonight, DenverSports.com. Jake, appreciate you. Thanks.
Thanks, Nate, as always.
Appreciate you coming on. Jake Shapiro on a Monday night from denversports.com, part of 104.3 The Fan, live from Denver on the Buffs and Broncos. And a little Nikola Jokic. You know, Nikola Jokic owns these horses, and he has in Serbia, and then he has his horses run these races. And then one of them won over the weekend, and he cried, he broke down, he was hugging the jockey and the horse and stuff, and then people are like, he didn't even get that excited about winning the NBA title. That's an interesting relation there. Jake Shapiro said, well, if you win something yourself, maybe you're excited, but like if your kid wins it, you're like more excited. That's interesting. Listener text coming in. Best wishes to Deion Sanders. Hope he can heal up fast and keep on coaching. Yeah, I've liked following Deion, and I've taken some heat on this from some good friends of mine. They're like, I don't know how you can like Deion. I mean, just look at me, and he's all the marketing and all the stuff. It's interesting. I've peeled behind and looking at Deion from the old school side of things, and how he expects his players to be good students and still do the right thing and not get into trouble. And there's a lot of old school things that I really like about Deion. A lot of old school stuff. That's what got me attracted to Deion at CU. Like, this guy's really interesting. And I know he's talking and he says this saying and that saying. I mean, he's like a calendar, one of those calendars you get. You get a saying every day. So I get all that. But you know what happened here? There was people trying to throw him under the bus all weekend saying, well, Deion's got a big announcement of this medical team Monday. I told you he's going to quit. He's going to quit. He can't handle it. Everybody just lit him up. And I hope you feel nice, because people love smacking guys like Deion, just absolutely throwing him under the bus. And then he comes out and makes the announcement he actually had bladder cancer and he had all of this stuff going on. And he's trying to come back healthy and trying to coach, and he's still dealing with stuff. And I haven't seen anybody say much today. Oh, I thought he was going to quit. Where are all you guys? Where do these keyboard warriors go? Kind of wonder that when I see people walking around town, too. I was like, where do these guys go sometimes? But anyway, coming right back with Zach Borg, Sioux Falls sports broadcaster, talking Legion Baseball. Let's preview the Legion Baseball tournament next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better?
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Santa came early. Renewal by Anderson's incredible Christmas in July event is so great, even Santa's shocked at the savings. Get 20% off plus no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. That means no payments till 2027. Renewals Acclaim and Ensemble lines are the best of the best. Santa's not waiting till December to get new windows and doors. Neither should you. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
after the game, or you're looking for a place to enjoy a delicious meal while watching your favorite team on the big screen TV, Valley Sports Bar and Grill has all the bases covered for all those things and more. Top-notch, friendly, and attentive service, wall-to-wall big screen TVs with all the big games, and the absolute best wings in Rapid City. Valley Sports Bar. Make it your place. 1865 Valley Drive, Rapid City.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
Great news. I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
All right, South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here, just getting the week going. We got a show tonight, we have a show tomorrow. And then nothing Wednesday, Thursday this week. State Legion baseball coverage is going to take us out. But we'll put on State Legion coverage on Fox Sports Radio. So getting excited for that State Legion baseball tournament. And Zach Borg's going to be covering it live play-by-play. He's going to be covering Post 22 in Watertown. Longtime sports broadcaster out of Sioux Falls, Zach Borg, on tonight talking State Legion baseball. Zach, good to have you. How are you?
Pretty good. We're all hoping we're going to be dodging the raindrops tonight because we're in the midst of our second severe weather night out here. And I know I was talking with both Coach Torvey and Coach Jensen, and they're going to be dodging some weather tonight up in Watertown. So hopefully the field doesn't get too wet because apparently they don't have a tarp at Watertown Stadium. So
by the way, that's tough. That's tough, by the way. If there's no tarp for a state venue, that might be kind of tough.
Well, and that was an issue that happened about a month ago because I'd actually, when I was still doing the TV side of things, I went up for that Watertown and Post 22 doubleheader, which was actually almost a month ago today, and that game was, that was supposed to be a doubleheader that started at 3, and they'd had heavy rain overnight the night before, and it pushed back. I believe there was actually I think 320 actually played Watertown first, and then it pushed back. It basically pushed everything back a little bit, and it's kind of interesting. I mean, obviously we know nothing's cheap in this world, and I'm sure getting a full-on tarp isn't. And added to the fact, too, that somebody brought up to me is that, well, you can't really get one from Brookings because both fields in Brookings now, Bob Sheldon Field and SDSU's Irv Heater Field, are now fully turfed. So they don't use a tarp. But, adding to it now, though, is the fact that Watertown Stadium no longer has football anymore. This will be the first year that the football program goes to their new football stadium. So you kind of would have thought that maybe they would have worked ahead a little bit in that, because I think it's now just baseball only. But I don't know. It's something I'll have to ask them about, and hopefully it's not too much of an issue. I don't remember there being any, even though it's named Watertown, I don't think there's any rivers, so I don't think there will be much danger of flooding. But I know there were some tornadoes that touched down around there yesterday, so they're getting it tonight, and we're all getting it tonight. So
let's hope.
But it looks like it will clear off, and I think we're actually looking at upper 70s later in the week, so it's perfect for baseball.
Should be nice. I want to get to the State Legion baseball field. You're going to be covering Post 22. It's the first game tomorrow. Post 22 is playing their other Rapid City team, Post 320. And one thing I noticed about the field, and it's not like they make it every year, but no Sioux Falls East, no Sioux Falls West. And so I'll ask you from a Sioux Falls perspective, everything's so fragmented is what I'm seeing. Players play high school, then some go Legion, some go Sanford Travel, some go here, there. The travel scene has taken off in Sioux Falls really for quite some time. Does Sioux Falls East and Sioux Falls West take a hit? Should we be surprised that they're not in a state Legion tournament?
I don't know. I mean, it definitely. I would have to look back exactly. It's been a while since both of them have been in. I feel like it's been a little while since West and East have both been in one at the same time. I will say, I kind of consider Renner to be a Sioux Falls one. I mean, Renner's a very small town. You basically hit it as soon as you leave Sioux Falls. I would almost call it Sioux Falls North, if you could. And in fact, I remember as I was kind of doing some of my research, putting my game notes together for tomorrow, I came upon a Matt Zimmer column from 2016, right around the time that program started, and he was talking about, he actually compared the start of that program, which is right around the time Renner started. He said he compared it to when Post 320 had started in Rapid City. He's like, well, this is something Rapid City had to deal with, and Renner's probably going to draw players from Sioux Falls East and West, and it was controversial at the time, and it certainly has had that effect because Renner's won 3 state championships now in 8 years. I mean, they've been, obviously Post 22 is the program, but you can make a case that Renner's the new kid on the block. I mean, they've become the second best program. I think you can make an argument, maybe Harrisburg's third, and I kind of wonder if, along with the travel teams, I think the facilities have mattered too. Renner plays in a very old ballpark, but it's charming, and they put a little money into it. Harrisburg and Brandon Valley have just blown up, and those towns have literally have expanded too, but they play in facilities that have put a lot of money in. And Harmon Park is just it's getting older, and it's just, I don't really think it's it's not the only thing, but I don't think it's a park that people necessarily enjoy playing in that much. If you're Sioux Falls West and East, if you're playing at the same time, one of you has to go over to the auxiliary field. It's not a great setup. And of course, the travel teams play at the new Sanford Diamonds. I've kind of always thought that was one thing that hurt both West and East, is that if you're going to have one called West and the other called East, you need to have separate fields. One needs to play on the west side, the other needs to play on the east side, have their own identities, and they've never had that. And I think it's starting to become an issue. I mean, obviously nothing's going to match what Rapid City has with Fitzgerald Field, but I do think the facilities are starting to become something that's starting to maybe hurt Post 15, but they still had good teams. I just think this year it just kind of snowballed a little bit. West couldn't quite put enough together in East. I think that last doubleheader against Post 22 kind of hurt them pretty badly, and 320 got hot.
Yeah, that was an upset there. Post 320 knocking off Sioux Falls East, and now Post 320 taking on Post 22, a Rapid City rivalry to start the State Legion tournament tomorrow in Watertown. Zach Borg will be covering it live here on the Nate Brown Show tonight from Sioux Falls. I just want to know, in the baseball scene, do you think Legion baseball maybe isn't? I mean, West River, Post 22, massive. We know this. Going for state title 45, I mean, the whole thing. Post 320, trying to come along. Mike Jansen doing a good job, first-year head coach. He gets them to state. Legion baseball in Sioux Falls, has it, when people think the best of the best, it sure seems like people go every which way to travel teams now, and you wonder if the travel scene is so much heavier East River than it is in Rapid City. It seems that way.
I think so, and I mean, obviously, part of that is just that Sanford facility out there, that whole campus. I talk about, maybe getting another facility for those guys to play at Harmon, and ideally, it'd be nice if one of them could play at the Sanford Diamonds, but those are, I'm guessing, more for the travel teams. And you go back, this has been going on for a little while. I mean, it was the Sioux Falls Cyclones for the longest time. That was I think it's still technically the travel team. I know Sanford started their own, but Marcus Phillips, who we just saw get drafted in the first round by the Tennessee Volunteers, he played his high school baseball with Roosevelt, but then he would go play for the Cyclones. So he never, I mean, can you imagine what he would have done potentially at West or East or even Renner, as good as that? You could have had maybe potentially, I think, lined up the Austin Henry with Marcus Phillips maybe on the same team. I mean, that would have been an incredible 1-2 punch.
Right.
So, I mean, it definitely the Legion, and I'll see it tomorrow. There will be radio. There'll be the Rapid City radio, which I'll be representing your fine establishment, as they say, and then Pierre, Yankton. It's a big deal in those communities. It's just It's not in Sioux Falls, and you know, even when I was doing that, I went to the doubleheader, as I mentioned, to end the regular season. And to be fair, I mean, the final ones between Sioux Falls East and Post 22, it was a noon and 2:00 game on a Friday, so you know, people are working. But I went up to the press box just thinking, well, I'm probably going to have to quiet down, or there may not be any space, and there was no PA announcer. It was just the Hard Hats had their kid doing the video live streaming. He was doing his play-by-play, but there was no PA announcer. There was nobody up there. I basically, I just sat up there and, you know, called, if you will, both games, and it was a decent crowd, especially for that time. But it's different right now for Sioux Falls, and I'm not sure. I'm sure there was a PA person for the night before when it was 7:00 when they were 6 and 7 or whatever, but. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of caught in that weird space between the travel teams. You're getting football going. The high school seems to be doing pretty well, but, you know, maybe the best thing that could happen to one of them would be to start playing their games at Augie a little more, at Augustana, and see if maybe that would maybe get a little more atmosphere. Just again, I think it would be a helpful thing if one of them could establish their own home field and separate so they're not both playing on the same field, or one of them is not on the auxiliary field all the time. But you know, I'm sure that's easier said than done.
I got to ask you, you're covering Post 22. You've been researching it. Is Post 22? I mean, they're sitting here with only 9 losses on the entire season. They've played in the Creighton Classic, the Gopher Classic. They've done the Firecrackers, so some big Legion tournaments. Is Post 22 a big favorite, or is this going to be a really interesting tournament?
Well, that's an interesting thing, and really, if we're being honest, it's only 8 losses because one of them's a forfeit.
Right.
And they haven't lost to a South Dakota team. On paper, you look at it, and they're the overwhelming favorite. But you look at the teams they played in the field. You go back to that series they played in Yankton. They had to win extra inning games at that one. When they played Watertown, there was a 1-run game. I mean. You know, they haven't played Harrisburg, but Harrisburg's really good. Brandon Valley they haven't played. Brandon's really good. And Renner's given them problems for years. Like I said, I spoke to Coach Torvey this morning, and, you know, obviously he's going to be a little diplomatic with everything. He's not going to give anybody any bulletin board material, but he says in his mind it's a very good field. It's well-balanced, and he thinks all 5 of the teams they've played to this point have enough to make a run. And again, the other thing we've forgotten is ever since they won that title 2 years ago, they've lost their opener the last 2 years. Now, it was to Brookings both times, so they don't have to worry about the Bandits, who were eliminated. But that's why this first game to me is going to be very interesting, aside from the fact it's the parking lot rivalry, which has never happened at State before. I mean, they've gone 1-2 the last 2 years, and now they go in with, I think, a team that's better than the one they've had the last 2 years. You know, I mean, and even when they won it in 2022, they lost in the second day. They still had to kind of go the hard route to win it. So nothing's come easily the last 3 years for Post 22. So I do think they're the favorite to win it, but I do expect there's going to be some really close games and some really good baseball. And I think they're going to be pushed, even if I think they could go undefeated, but I think we'll see a couple of 1-run, 2-run games, some really good baseball. You know, for as much as I've kind of bagged on some of the way Sioux Falls and the surrounding area hasn't maybe supported it, the quality is still very good.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. State Legion tournament starting in Watertown. We hope we start on time. A lot of the severe weather, the water, we'll see where it goes. Post 22 is going to start the tournament tomorrow morning. Zach Borg's covering the Hard Hats, trying to win state title again and get back on top. Sioux Falls sports broadcaster. Zach, appreciate you, man. Enjoy the game. I appreciate it.
Well, hey, thanks. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to call it. And folks in Rapid, be a little patient with me. I'll try to get everybody's name pronounced correctly, and just looking really forward to it. It's the Legion baseball tournament's always one of the highlights of the year. And like I said, I think this is going to be a really fun tournament.
I appreciate it. Zach Borg on tonight. He'll be covering Post 22 at the State A Legion tournament in Watertown. Zach Borg live tonight on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. We're coming back, wrapping it up. Who's hot and who's not next?
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Our locally owned Ace stores are committed to helping our neighbors and our communities. And because we're in the neighborhood, we can deliver almost anything you need. So shop in store or online for whatever your home or yard needs. Choose from top brands like Milwaukee, Steel, Traeger, and Benjamin Moore. Then pick up in-store, curbside, or we'll deliver your order right to your home. Around the block, what you need in stock, with people who know how to help. See acehardware.com for details.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Slight chance of rain showers tonight, otherwise partly cloudy skies. Lows level off around 62. Northerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Chance of thunderstorms tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 79, cloudy skies expected. Cloudy skies tomorrow night, storms likely, lows around 61. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 73 degrees.
Start your adventure in a sport utility at Danny Emanuel Rushmore Honda. Get great offers on nearly 70 late model SUVs, imports, and domestics. Makes like Ford, Toyota, GMC, Chevy, Subaru, Jeep, and more. Plus, we have the area's best selection of pre-owned Honda and Honda certified pre-owned. Save big with 0.99% APR on select certified pre-owned. Your sport utility is here at Danny Emanuel Rushmore Honda or RushmoreHonda.com. Length of finance contract is limited with qualified credit, expires 9/2/25.
Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is everywhere you need us to be. On the sidelines, supporting our local athletes, at our clinic locations throughout the region, and at our Ortho Express walk-in clinic when you don't have time to wait. We're here when you need us, working as a team to make your comeback stronger than ever. Getting stronger, getting better, getting you back to your best self. The life of an athlete has its uncertainties, wins and losses, injury and recovery. In the Black Hills area, athletes can always count on Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, here for whatever moves you.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, who's hot and who's not, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet on the Nate Brown Show. The Pizza Ranch, who's hot and who's not. Before we go, who's hot category Saturday, they're going to set a record for Major League Baseball, it looks like. They're going to play a game at Bristol Motor Speedway, the Braves and the Reds. At Bristol Motor Speedway, tickets have been sold 85,000 so far. 85,000. That could be a record. Who's not category, staying in baseball. Bryce Harper was talking to Rob Manfred, the commissioner, over the weekend, and told him, quote, if you're going to talk about a salary cap, get the blank out of our clubhouse. That's a good way to start negotiations, Bryce. Thanks for playing. See you back here tomorrow. Podcast up now.
Time to stock up on deals at Fleet Farm's Truckload Super Sale, July 31st through August 3rd. Get a black